How's it going, guys? My name is Jared Ace, and welcome back to MoneyMetEish. This is a temporary MoneyMetEish setting since we got a new couch, and it is currently larger than our recording space. So while we're working on setting up a new studio, this is where I'm recording. So yeah. At a 5.31% portfolio weighting, excluding ETFs, the Spar Group is our 6th largest holding in the MoneyMetEish EasyEquities portfolio. I added Spar and ShopRite to the portfolio at the same time, but it seems as if that was the last time that they were really anywhere near each other. In today's video, we're going to have a deeper look at Spar. We're going to have a look at why I bought it, what the company does, what we expect from the company. We'll have a look at a few SENS announcements, and then I will give you my plans for the company and the portfolio. But before we get started, please be sure to hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Please also remember that I am not a financial advisor, this is not financial advice, and this is apparently not a blank cup because I don't have one with me on the couch. Blank cups. Put your logo on my cup. For more information about blank cups and how to work with MoneyMetEish, contact us via email at moneymeteish@gmail.com. In many ways, buying this company was a mistake. I just shouldn't have bought it in the first place. And let me explain why. I had been looking for retailers to buy in the fast-moving consumer goods space, and I made a short list of 4 companies. They were ShopRite, Woolworths, Pick n Pay, and Spar. I set them out on a piece of paper and I compared all the metrics that I saw on MoneyWeb without even really knowing what the metrics really meant. All I knew was this number should be high and this number should be low, and I was basically running naked and barefoot through a room covered in broken glass with a blindfold on. Not a good place to be. In my initial research, Spar and ShopRite came out as the top 2 picks, but I still essentially knew nothing about these companies, and like many people who just find something new and exciting, I was very vocal in my ignorance. I decided that I was going to buy ShopRite and that would be that. And then I got a notification saying that Spar was going to be paying a 6% dividend yield, and without even thinking, almost as if my fingers had a mind of their own, there I went and I bought Spar. Yeah. To make matters worse, I didn't even end up getting the dividend. So, I bought both companies on the 30th of November 2020, and they have performed drastically differently since that date. Where I'm up 77% on ShopRite, I am down almost 7% on Spar. Since I've bought the company, which isn't even really a retailer, I've found multiple ways of justifying this impulsive purchase that I made over a year ago, ranging from it pays a nice dividend to it gives great exposure to international retailers, and even just because you didn't know what you were doing doesn't make it a bad investment. Yes, it very much does. So today, we will be unpacking a few of my own misguided misconceptions and see what's actually going on. Starting at the very beginning, what even is Spar if it's not a retailer? This one is the easiest of all to correct and shows just the absolute lack of research that went into this purchase, since it's literally the first words on the About Us section of their website. We are a warehouse and distribution business. Spar is not a retailer. It's a distribution business. The Spar, Build It, and Tops branded stores that you see in your neighborhood and surrounding areas are independently owned. This should not have been news to me. Not only should I have already known this before I bought the stock I already owned, but because when I was growing up, my family owned and operated a Build It store in Pretoria. My currently owns the Build It in North Riding, so if you're ever in the area, tell them I sent you. Shout out to Build It North Riding. So, how does this even work? Basically, the company operates on a voluntary trading model, meaning that independent retailers opt to work under the Spar brand in order to have access to the brand's recognition and its internal processes that come with the brand. The group makes its money from wholesale to the independent retailers and not from sales to the customers. It's a B2B, not a B2C company. Independent retailers do not need to source their products from the group, though, which is why you can find some Spar stores which have products that you only ever find at that Spar and not across the whole chain in South Africa. The group operates 14 distribution centers in 4 countries, namely South Africa, Ireland, Switzerland, and most recently, Poland. The Polish operation gets a lot of attention and was one of the reasons why I held on for so long thinking, if they can get Poland right, the stock is going to the moon! But let's have a look at the Polish side of the business. The Poland operation contributes less than 2% to group revenue, and although it's growing faster than any other market that the company operates in, despite it actually underperforming expectations, my thinking that this somehow makes Spar a major play on Europe, although not entirely incorrect, is also far from being correct. In fact, it is far smaller than I had initially thought, with the European businesses combined contributing less than 40% to the total group revenue. 63% of group revenue comes from South Africa, and this is not a market where I would say Spar stores are shooting the lights out by any means of the imagination, but back to Poland. Unlike South Africa, where Spar could be considered as part of a big 5 of grocery stores along with ShopRite, Checkers, Pick n Pay and Woolies, Spar is a very small fish in Poland. Its 221 stores puts it in 18th place in the market, dwarfed by the largest players in the region, and I'm going to butcher these names, Dino, Biedronka, and Zabka, who have 1,500, 3,100, and 7,200 stores respectively. There are roughly 34 food retailer chains in the country, and by all measures, Spar is in the middle of the road. Poland has a population of 38 million people and has seen some big international players like Tesco and more recently French distribution giant Carrefour leave the country, while the government has actually recently entered the market. PKN Orlen, again, butchering these names, is a majority state-owned oil refiner and petrol retailer who has recently opened their first standalone convenience store in addition to the over 2,000 stores it owns at its filling stations. Spar is in direct competition with Orlen as they target service station forecourts through their deal with Avia, or Avia, again, names. Poland ties very closely with another of the reasons why I've been holding the stock until now, the dividend. Spar released a SENS announcement on the 16th of February stating that the board had decided to cut the dividend in half in order to fund the Polish project after negotiations with the company's Irish creditors did not go as they would have wanted. The board has since decided that the best way to fund Poland is to cut the dividend payout ratio to 35% from 70%, claiming that this would allow them to fund Poland without taking on more debt, while also allowing the board to give the shareholders some kind of dividend. The market responded a bit more harshly yesterday, but it wasn't the kind of sell-off that I was expecting. After falling sharply after the previous results in November, the share price has slowly been picking up, gaining 5% in the last week before falling 2% on Friday after the dividend news. On the one hand, the cutting of the dividend is negative, and yes, it sucks, especially since it's one of the main reasons that I bought the stock so impulsively. But the fact that the board is not taking on extra debt to work on Poland is definitely a positive, especially since the company already has a massive debt burden. Spar has a debt-to-equity ratio of 124%, which is up from 78% 5 years ago. This is a huge amount of debt. The company is releasing its interim results to the end of March on the 8th of June, but I'm not of the mind at the moment that I'll be waiting that long. It is always in my mind that I want to and claim to be a long-term investor, but it's much easier said than done. If I look at the growth prospects of ShopRite versus the growth prospects of Spar, I feel like ShopRite is a much better choice going forward. And even if Spar does get Poland right, I'm not fully confident that the growth in Poland will be greater than the opportunity cost of keeping the money invested in Spar. Poland does seem to be a large growth opportunity for Spar, but the operation would have to grow revenue 50% every year for 5 years to match the contributions made by the group's next smallest contributor, which is Switzerland, while the rest of the group stayed stagnant. Poland is certainly not the golden egg that I initially thought that it was. That's not to say that it's a bad business, it's just that I had expected more in my absolutely zero research that I did. Lately, I've been giving a lot of thought to our portfolio as a whole, but I've been very chicken to actually do anything about it. I've kind of just had this idea that I'll sit on my hands and it'll somehow take care of itself, which is not the case. I've been saying for a while that I don't have the level of understanding that I feel like I need in a lot of the companies that we own. So there will be a lot more of these type of review videos looking at more companies that we own, going over my mindset when I bought the company and what I intend to do with them going forward, to see if these companies should keep their places in the portfolio. When I started the portfolio, we got lucky a lot. It was a very easy time to pick stocks, and I know that it is going to be a lot more work and a lot more difficult to find companies to add to the portfolio going forward. At the end of the day, like I've said before, if I'm not going to be beating the index, I might as well just own the index instead. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, comment and subscribe down below, and ring the bell to be notified when we upload new videos. You can also follow MoneyMetEish on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere where MoneyMetEishes are, as well as joining us on Patreon. Links to all of them in the description down below. Thanks again, and have a good night.